Hey everybody, Haku here with my live reaction or read through for this week's chapter of Tower of God, Urek Mazino. We have episode 55, Laktur, part 2, and I was not at all expecting things to go how they went last time, so hearing that it was going to end at like episode 70-ish, around there, I just thought, okay, with the way that floor 2 went, we're spending the rest of the spinoff on floor 3. I wasn't expecting this to be like, okay, floor 3 is over. Now we're on floor 4 already. I didn't expect that. Out of nowhere for me. That is quick moving. And also, we had the meeting between Urek and Bakerian and everything, but Bakerian didn't climb up as part of their team, it seems. So he is still going to be going separately as his own person climbing and all. And it's... man, what a letdown of a first meeting between those two, now that I think about it. Well, yeah, that kind of sucked. I don't know. It feels rough to start the video, and within a minute I'm saying it sucks, but... again, I said I think that for as many bad things as I've said about the Urek spinoff, I am one of the lightest people on it, and people in the comments were like, yeah, most other people reacting and comments and everything have been much harsher than I've been. But I think... when I was coming to record this, or at least when I thought about this morning, I was like, okay, today I'm going to be reading Tower of God. I was thinking about Tower of God. I was thinking about Urek Mazino. And something I said in late season 3 came to mind, where I was like, I think it was during Bomb and Dumas stuff, that I said, you know, if I had never ever read Tower of God before, and you gave me this chapter, I'd be like, yeah, that's solid. That's pretty good. Like, without any context, no context, I'd be like, okay, this is a solid chapter. But then you put it into the context of the rest of Tower of God, having read Tower of God, and I'm like, oh, this sucks. This is awful. It's one of those things where at the time I was saying, wow, Bomb and Dumas, this stuff is awful. But without any context, it wouldn't be so bad. It's just the context of knowing the lore of Tower of God and the story leading up to this and surrounding this. And that is something I'm kind of feeling here, and something I've kind of done for all of Urek Mazino. All of Urek Mazino, I said, I've just accepted that the story isn't the strongest, but I'm having fun with it on the moment to moment. On the scene to scene, on the moment to moment, last chapter is fun, and most things are fun. I still think if you were to show me this and I didn't know anything about it or anything and I read it, I'd be like, okay, this is decent, this is fun. Not the best thing I've ever read comic-wise or anything, but it's fine. And the art's definitely on the lower end of things that I would have read. It wouldn't be very high for me. And that's something too where I do prefer the spin-off art and the spin-off art style to a lot of parts of season 3, but especially looking at some of the recent chapters art, it's just such a... it's so far... it's one of those things where, again, I can have fun. If I have no context, I can have fun with this story, I can have fun with this art, but then you put it into the context of Tower of God. If I pretend that the main series doesn't exist, if I pretend that the blog posts don't exist, then it can stand on its own feet. But and it can be okay. Even then, it won't be great. It'll just be passable. But when you give it the context of, see, you haven't written the main series in the blog posts, then it's like, oh, this sucks. Like, again, if I had no idea who Bakerian was, no idea, and I read this, I'd be like, that was mid. That was okay. It was 4 or 5 out of 10. Fine. But then having the context of the blog posts, having read those, and knowing about Bakerian, reading that is like, okay, that sucks. That's not good. It's not good. I can't pretend that it's good. Like, again, it's okay at best without context, and with context, it's just not good. And that goes with for the art as well, now that I'm thinking about it. Because again, if I saw this art, I'd be like, it is certainly not the best art from any comic or anything that I've read. But it's passable. But then, within the context of Tower of God, we had season 1, and season 1 had infinitely more personality and creativity than this. And we had season 2, which maintained infinitely more personality and creativity, but was also just really good. Early season 2, really good. workshop battle, really good. Even up through like Floor of Death and Hidden Floor still had really good art. So much more creative art and also still better looking art. So then we get here and it's like, okay, that's just something I was thinking about because it reminded me of season 3 where I'm like, without context, this art is okay. Without context, this story is okay. Even then it's not great, but I can have fun with it. I have very low standards. So it's like, I can just have fun with something. I can just be like, I am reading this or I am watching this and I am going to have fun with it. I don't need to huff farts over the quality of it or whatever. I don't need to treat everything like a film snob. But then just basic comparisons to the series itself, basic comparisons to the blog posts and to the main series, and everything starts falling apart. So I will continue with this chapter, with this read through. I will continue to just have fun with it. And last week when reading, I was like, oh yeah, that was solid. That was whatever. But in hindsight, thinking about this is Urek and Bakerion meeting, thinking about this, thinking about how incredibly well written their meeting and their relationship was in the blog post. And that was just kind of a couple vague sentences explaining things. Just thinking about that in comparison to what we actually see, this is the, I think I even said it last week, this is the Temu version of the story. The blog posts are the proper version of the story and they're not even canon anymore. And this is the Temu version of the story. This is the Disney remake, the modern audience retelling of the story. So yeah, this kind of sucks. I will have fun with it. I went from having fun, but being like, okay, the writing's not perfect, to being like, okay, I'm having fun with it, but the writing sucks. And I think the difference, I actually think I brought this up last week too. I think the difference is getting into stuff that is connected to the main story, getting into lore stuff. So I was like, the writing isn't the best, but I'm having fun with it. I'm really enjoying it. All of that, because we were at the second floor, we had these totally new characters, this totally new structure, not even any of the, floor of test, second floor characters that are around in the main series doing tests then. Completely clean slate. And I'm having fun. But then we start connecting into princess lore, connecting into Edwan, connecting into Garam, connecting into Bakerion, and we start to bring in things from the main series and from the blog post. And it's like, okay, when you're doing your own thing away from everything else, that's one thing. But then when you bring it into something that I actually already like and enjoy, or something that we've already gotten some stuff of, then it's like, okay, not as fun anymore. Not as, well, it goes from being it's all right, it's fine or whatever, to now we have a frame of reference and a connection to something else. And it's like, okay, now it's bad. Now it sucks. Because of that frame of reference and connection to something that's better. It's like there was this one video I've seen or whatever talking about how, people would hate certain video games that come out from a franchise and then they suck or whatever. And it's like, it's one thing if you make your own shitty video game with your own shitty IP and we can all laugh about it, like when Concord came out and literally no one played it even for the free weekend or whatever. It's like, you can do whatever with your own IP, but it makes people angry when you come into an IP or an IP that people care about and start fucking everything up. That's different. It's totally different when you're fucking up over there, not attached to IP that I like, but then when you come into a pre-existing IP and fuck things up, then it's a different game. I feel like that's kind of an apt comparison, where when Urek's off doing his own thing and the only connection to the story is Urek really, and he's off doing his own thing, and we're telling stories that way, then even if the writing's not good, you're not fucking anything up, even if the writing's not that great. But now you're messing up Bakerion, you're messing up Garam and princess stuff, and I'm using messing up lightly there because, again, nothing's that egregious. It's just egregious in comparison to what you think we easily could have gotten, how it could have easily been better, and how it easily was better. So long Haku intro aside, didn't mean for it to be that long, didn't expect it to be that long. I was thinking this would be a quick video, so with all that aside, let's actually read. We're starting off the 3rd floor. What the? He disappeared? Seriously? I thought you wanted to fight, and we're back to Edwan. Urek, get back here. Latour, Part 2, the 4th floor. We have rumbling. Urek there with Garam. Get out of here. Run as far as you can. You could get hurt. What? Why? Who is that? Do you know him? That's Latour. He's a bit of a perv, but there's no denying he's powerful. Then he jumps up into the sky. All of you, run for your lives. You'll get hurt if you stay here, I'm warning you. This place is about to become a living hell. And they clash punches. Okay. And is this supposed to be similar to the He and Viol panel, but with a lot less aura and build-up? They start trading blows. Trading blows more. Even more so. But Urek is getting knocked back. He's forming dark matter on his knuckles and sending it out as a blast with his punch. We have the team running. Gah! Energy crackling off. Grabs onto Urek's arm after Urek guarded. And goes in for another. This time sending him down. Another angle. But he's fine. He stances up and jumps into the air back to Latour. Goes for his own punch. But it seems like he's boxing him. Manages to land a shot on Urek's face, which leaves him unsteady but doesn't send him flying. Urek comes down with the axe handle slam. Then Latour charging up more energy. Uh-oh. Postura. And the vagueness with whether the energy is Shinsu or not, which it seems like we were wrong and it's generally not Shinsu, is lame too. I think it would be better if we just stuck with the idea that they came into the tower and started using Shinsu. I think that would have been stronger than just they can shoot energy blasts. Postura. He launches it. Urek guards. Another shot of big energy beam. Bunch of destruction in this, wasteland of nothingness. And again, too, this is a change that Tower of God has made, where this is very Tower of Beams. We're just throwing beams and punches in a big, empty, nowhere area, wherein think about a lot of the creative settings for some of the fights that we got in the main series, like Season 2 in particular, or how the fights in Season 1 were so connected to the games and the structure of Crown Game, Hide and Seek, stuff like that. You think about those, the structure there, or the fight in the hotel hallway, or then the hotel room area for Season 2, and I guess that also would be the first arc of Season 2, but I was thinking of Viol having to deal with Vespa and Shibisu, or then the hallway fight with Ron and Anak and Novak and everyone. And the different things that we saw there compared to just throwing giant beams in a big open nothing. Again, it is just the Dragon Ball-ification of Tower of God that a lot of people brought up in Season 3. If he's gotten this powerful, people must be suffering somewhere. I can't have that. And we have reaction from Edwan. And I have brought this up a few... he had left Edwan a while ago, and we did the whole vote stuff after he left Edwan. So it was weird for him to be like, hey, where are you going? And all that stuff. But then I mentioned this before, even as far back as Helltrain, the overuse of certain characters. And I kind of feel like it was so cool having Edwan show up and fight Mago, but then he fell asleep and Edwan should have been out there. He shouldn't have come back to Lore Drop with Urek. He shouldn't be doing this. I think that we're definitely overusing Edwan now. The Mago fight was good, but he's stuck around way too long for things that are way too inconsequential for a family head to be acting this way. I was wondering where you ran off to. Come on, Urek. Have some fun. For me. What is he doing here? I want to play too. And he enters the fight. Again, this just feels like AI fight video of would Goku beat Superman? That's the most generic example you could use. Would insert anime character fight other insert anime character? What would look like? And then, it's just random characters jumping in to fight. Don't you want to see Urek big punch, laser beam punch? Don't you want to see beam shoot punch Edwan? Family head punch? Don't you want punch, shoot, laser beam? Flashy light punch? Don't you like flashy light punch show? That's what this is turning into. Ugh, we should be at a safe distance, right? Let's take a short break. Where are the others? I have no idea. I was just running as fast as I could. We probably lost them somewhere. We have, well. It's been a while since I have had guests. Just hiding under a rock? Yeah, a person? What the? So, you live here? Yes, for a long time now. By yourself? Indeed, I'm the only person here. Dang, this place is creepy. Would it be alright if we stayed here for a bit? We don't want to risk being out there right now. Of course. You can stay as long as you'd like. We have some sort of centipede? And who? And we end there with that cliffhanger? Really? Sorry for such a negative video. I hate being negative about things. But I find it hard, even if you like the spinoff and love Tower of God, I find it difficult that anyone wouldn't see where I'm coming from. Even if you like this, you've got to see where I'm coming from with it. So, I would say, for me, bad. But also dependent on two things. Dependent on A, what you are reading Tower of God for. B, what your connection to Tower of God as a whole. So for me, the connection to Tower of God as a whole that's maybe not a good way to put it. Context. That's the other one. Out of context, in context, bad. In context, bad because we can compare it to the rest of Tower of God, all of everything else. So I think that will color your opinion. If you have a very good context of everything else, you've read the series a bunch of times, you have a connection to the old stuff, and that's where connection comes in, or the blog post or whatever. But if you've never read the blog post, maybe even if you've never read the main series, or if you just read it once really quick, marathoning through, and you only really care about the week to week, then again, that's going to change how bad or not bad you view this as. And what you value in it is something that I've brought up, different people care about different things. In One Piece, I love the story and the characters, and there are some people that read only for social media, only for power scaling and arguments and stuff. So you're just reading for different things. And that kind of also has to go into the context of the series, because for me, I would read Tower of God for the world and stories and characters. And so that is bad, because this is either completely inconsequential, who cares to the world and story and characters, or actively negative to it. So for what I value in the story, what I care about, it's bad. But if you're reading because you do like Punch Punch Laser Beam, I like Big Punch Flashlight Show, ooh, pretty color, then if that's what you value, if that's what you are looking for, you're going to get Punch Punch Flashlight Big Color. And that's something that I think I was saying a lot in season 3 as well, when a lot of people were calling it Tower of Beams, calling it, the Dragon Ballification of Tower of God. When you look at things that way, it's like, if you value flash color, pretty color, big punch, then you can get something out of this. But for me, that's not something I value, and that's because we never really got that in season 1. It was about the games and the structure and the lore and world building, and even getting into season 2, it's what fights do we really get? We get some fighting like Bomb and Mule Love, but there's no conclusive end to that, because it's not about the fighting, it's about what the characters are going through and what the characters are trying to accomplish. Where with this, it's just about the fighting. This isn't about what Urek's going through or what he's trying to accomplish. This is just about the fighting. The fight's just happening because Siyu's riding a fight. Lotur is coming to fight Urek because of the stuff with Mago. And then Edwan is quite literally just coming to fight Urek. For none of these 3 characters, it's about how they feel, their convictions, what they need to accomplish because of some setup that's around them. Urek is on the defensive end, so he just has to fight, but Lotur came to fight, and Edwan just wants to fight. The fight is justifying the fight. Before, it's like, okay, Bomb wanted to continue without making friends because he needed to, or his friends would get hurt. That justifies why he has to fight Love. But Love is fighting because he has this grudge against FUG, and he wants to stop Viol from climbing, even if it means going against the way that he views a good test director as. And Wangnan's getting involved because Wangnan has this dream for climbing the tower and is willing to go back on that dream for revenge against somebody who hurt somebody he loved, but he's also being a bit duplicitous from the start, kind of fooling Viol, because he does still have that dream and does still want to climb with everyone. And so any conflict that goes on, any of the fight between Love and Bomb, which is also done in the context of a game, of a test, which is a Tower of God thing, all of this is motivated by these important character things. Or even say, let me try to find a random other idea for a fight. Reflejo wanted to, melt Bomb down, which is why he needed him in that spot, so that he could give Karaka the means to get a revenge by proxy for him, something that he's been waiting for and fighting hard for, and the plan went so awry that now he's going to have to do whatever means necessary to get it done. And Bomb isn't willing to give up on somebody who helped him get here, like Huariyun, so he has to go in to rescue Huariyun. And there's, again, all the stuff with Andrasi, what she's doing, all the different things surrounding that context. And again, I was trying to think of something that is more of a straightforward just fight. That is more of a just straightforward fight. But again, here, the fight wasn't justifying the fight. And I struggle to think of many, if any, times that happened pre-season 3. I mean, even in season 3, there were probably better justifications. But for this, for a lot of Urek Mazino, actually, why really did Urek need to fight Danjo? Why did that have to be written as a fight? Urek fighting Rahab, in the end, because of the way that the Crown game ended, that went absolutely nowhere. So why did it need to be written that way? So much of this is just the fights justify the fights. It feels like when Tower of God was taking the transition from what it was before during Hell Train to being the more generic OP main protagonist. All the focus goes on just the main protagonist and the side characters start getting shafted. When we start transitioning into that, it feels like it's either CU himself or Webtoons editors, editorial, whatever, being like, this is what people want, isn't it? This is what's getting popular with Webtoons. Webtoons pre 2015-ish, I guess. There's much more of a variety of different things, but then around that shift, it's just OP protagonist. Most of them look exactly the same, mostly just OP protagonist, really hard focus on the OP protagonist, and nobody else is getting any attention or anything. So it felt like this shift in Tower of God to, isn't this what the people want? And this, again, just feels like reactive writing. It feels like instead of trying to tell a story, it's like you see it with the ups and downs of the incredibly low scores that Tower of God's gotten through late season 3 into the Urek spinoff. It feels like this reactive writing of, isn't this what the people want? Don't they just want punch, flashy color? Don't they want flashy color laser beam? I don't know what else to write for them. And that's what this feels like. It just feels like a reactive, the fight is justifying the fight. I think people like fights, so let me do punch, flashy laser beam. And 15 chapters from now, whatever happens in that time frame, it seems like what I said before, it doesn't feel like there was a start to finish natural story planned out. We hit this beat, then we hit this beat, then we hit this beat for the spinoff. It just felt like I want to do a Urek spinoff. People like Urek, people like flash, punchy laser beam, and Urek is kind of that kind of character. So we do that, and then eventually, people don't like this anymore, or I'm bored of this now. Let's be done with the Urek spinoff. And I think thus far, why'd we bring in Baekryun? Were they like, oh, maybe people want to see Baekryun? Why'd we do that? Why do we even have him here? Urek didn't need to meet Baekryun on floor 3. Like, now that I'm thinking about that, why? Why do that? Why even bother? And a lot of the things like the structure of floor 2, why did we write out Crown Game and then all of a sudden say, Crown Game's not happening anymore? We canceled Crown Game's finale, all the build up for the different characters and plot points we had going. We dropped that and moved into a new thing. It just felt like CU was like, okay, I'm tired of writing Crown Game. Finish what you're writing. I'm tired of writing Crown Game. Let me write this next thing. And then I guess whenever he gets tired of writing the next thing, we move on from that. But floor 3 was just this, cavalcade of, oh, you're spoiled about Garam showing up. Garam shows up. Okay. You're spoiled about Baekryun showing up. He shows up. Okay. Baekryun doesn't even really play into things pretty much at all. Like, he is pretty inconsequential to all of that, which is a big letdown deflation for the introduction of the character. And now we go here, and it's just, like I said, the overuse of Edwan. Having Edwan show up, and then show up again, and then show up again, 3 floors in a row. It was cool the first time. The second time, it felt like too much. And the third time, it's way too much. And again, it just feels like he's here, like him showing up and then being like, oh, he's joining the fight. Isn't this what you want? It just feels like that kind of fan service. Like, you can have good fan service and bad fan service, and people try to use that to demonize like ecchi stuff, but you can use it in this context too. You can have good fan service and bad fan service. This, I think, is bad fan service. You're just throwing the story out the window or to the wayside in order to say, don't you want to see a family head do big attacks? Don't you want to see big punch? That's where we are right now. And so now I am starting to hit the point where floor 2, I wasn't there at all. Floor 2, if you were to tell me, like what somebody said about Naya saying that he was kind of maybe done with Tower of God after the spinoff is done, or maybe we'll give the beginning of season 4 a chance. I wasn't feeling that way at all. Floor 2, it's like, this isn't the best, but Tower of God, It's fine. It can come back. After floor 3, so many lore things and things that I think are actually important or things I actually care about were handled so messily. I don't even necessarily want to say poorly. There's nothing that was done so egregiously bad it can't be fixed, but it was a mess. And it leaves me thinking, we shouldn't have done any of that princess stuff. We should have done none of the princess stuff. Like, give some hints at what's going on with the nameless princess, why Garam needs to go after her, but don't do the Urek lore drop. Save that for season 4. Save that for the princess characters. Don't do that lore drop. We shouldn't have done that. The snake charmer, maybe don't use him. Like, make him more sparingly. Maybe hint that there's a connection between him and the princess, and have Mago, the conversation where Mago's like asking the princess about it, have like a hint at a connection there. Like, maybe one of the snakes just visits and talks to her. But all the stuff with Urek killing the guy, with the snake inside the guy and blowing up the snake, and then he does it a second time because we didn't need that. Leave all that out. Straight, like, again, leave that for the princess characters. That's so important to Andorthy's story. Hint at it with the nameless princess, and the nameless princess's story could be kind of similar to Andorthy's. So again, hint at it, leave that build up there, but using it so much, save that for Andorthy. Save that for her character. And now again with Edwan, it's the same thing here. Don't, like, we ran straight through floor 3. Now we're into floor 4. No build up or anything. Just don't you want to see fight? Latour jumps in. Big empty nowhere area, which again doesn't make sense. If people were climbing, there would be some sort of structure to it, unless we're extremely early on, but it doesn't seem like we're so early on that there would just be no structure. But maybe there was, and Latour just destroyed it. But again, that is copology on my point. Just making up things to try to justify it in hindsight of maybe it could be this, and then looking like a clown when it isn't this. So I guess that's where we are. I think in the span of a short half dozen or so chapters, my opinions of the spinoff have plummeted a lot. And again, I blame it not just on like just punchy laser show like this chapter, but I blame it mostly on connecting things in to things like family heads and princesses and Baekryun, which if you were going to connect it in, you need to write it much better than this. It's not that I'm saying don't connect it in whatsoever, but if you are, write it better than what we got. So that's where I am with this right now, where after this before this chapter, I was not thinking it whatsoever. I even told you guys, I was like, I'm not quitting Tower of God. I love it. I've been reading it since 2011. After this chapter, I am closer maybe than I have ever been. There have been some times in the past. Season 3 has tested me at times, but this is the closest I think I've ever felt to, I could just not read chapter 56 and be satisfied. This is the closest I have been since I can remember that I am like, I don't even need to finish out the spinoff. I could be done here and feel fine. So I am going to continue for now. Maybe I should take a break like I did before. Remember last time after the, really the shit with the end of the Crown game that sucked? After that, I took a break, I came back, and again, I was like, the writing isn't great, but I'm feeling a lot more refreshed on the series. Maybe I just need to come back feeling more refreshed on the series. I don't think that this will make the writing any better, but maybe that's just what I need to do. I don't know. So that's where I am. That's where we are. So I wonder what you all think. This chapter, again, it's the culmination of the things I was complaining about before, but also the chapter being pretty much all punchy laser beam, and that being something that not only do I not value in Tower of God, it's the opposite of what I value in Tower of God. That is not what Tower of God was at all for Season 1 or almost all of Season 2 until the very end, and it's not what I think Tower of God should be in any circumstance in any way. I think it's a betrayal of what the series was and the ideas that it had. So yeah, I think that this chapter just kind of set me over the edge there in terms of I already wasn't enjoying it, and now this chapter pandered in a really negative way to something that I don't value in the series. So, yeah. Either way, I'm probably just repeating myself at this point, so I'll end it here. Probably have more to talk about. Again, I wasn't planning on the long intro or the long discussion this time. Like if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this chapter, my thoughts and reactions. Subscribe for more. Tower of God, much more on the channel. Presuming I continue, I don't know if I'll take a break or not. If I do take a break, maybe I just wait until the spinoff is over and then marathon the rest. Who knows? But thank you to people who are members and patrons already. Hit join down below to become a member. Go to patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or a link will be in the description if you want. Thank you to the chosen regulars, Evan Hawley and Bertie Wooster, Magical Girls, Dee Van and Moru, Cheerton Student, David Langstaff, Slayer Candidates, SG and Stan Cedar, and Pure Element, Pater Dial. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.